Satan comes and tempts us. He doesn't actually appear like a little red character with a tail and a fork and horns. That's not how he appears. Paul tells us in 2 Corinthians that Satan comes disguised as an angel. You can't be sure of just what he's telling you, which is which. It's very difficult, isn't it? Is that Satan trying to tempt me? Or is it the Lord's Spirit? And I do encourage you to get to know the Lord's voice. Spend time with him. Pray. Read your Bible. Get to understand how God thinks. Spend time with him. So that you begin to learn when it's the Lord and when it is Satan. And you begin to think as he thinks. So how do I sort out the voices? How do I know which is which? Well, first of all, generally speaking, and this is not a complete guarantee, but generally speaking, you'll find that Satan will accuse. One of the names, you know, Satan has lots of names in the Bible. The devil, Beelzebub, you name it, he's got it. One of the names for him is accuser. And he will often accuse you. He'll make you feel guilty. You really must do this. You ought to do this. Do that because you should. What would so-and-so think of you if you didn't do this, or if you did? He'll accuse you. He'll tell you that everybody does it. Oh, everybody does this. There's nothing wrong with it. No. Why, only the other day I saw a vicar on TV, and he did it. There's nothing wrong, he'll say. He'll focus on ease, on comfort, on convenience, on greed, on lust, on your desires, on you satisfying your physical body. And he'll tell you that you deserve it. He'll say, oh, you really ought to have this. Why shouldn't you? And he'll take you very often into the realm of fantasy, of the unattainable. He'll set you a target and say, you could have that. Won't be related to reality. The Spirit will focus your mind on God's will. He'll focus your mind on other people. He'll focus you on giving and being generous rather than getting. So, there's a voice. How can you trust it? How can you be sure? How can you be sure this is the Spirit and not Satan or just yourself? Well, you need all 4 senses, you see. If you just go by your inner voice, one day you think yes, the next day you think no. One day you're following the Spirit, the next you're following Satan. Or yourself, your own desires and passions. One day you feel good about yourself, one day you're not feeling so good. So you can't rely entirely on your inner voice. And if you do, you'll find yourself in difficulty. You need all 4 senses to give you the all clear. If one of them's beeping, don't do it. So what's sensor number 2? Sensor number 2, the thing that checks you, the beeper at the back. And this is one that often will block things straight off for you. And that's circumstances. What are your circumstances? You've listened for your inner voice, and your inner voice says, I'd like to do that. I think that could be the right thing. But circumstances can sometimes close this down for us very quickly. So you're going to Harvey Nichols in the centre of Leeds. You get in there and you look and you think, oh, this is the most magnificent coat I've ever seen. It looks like it'll be comfortable to wear. It looks like it'll keep the rain off me. It'll keep me warm. It just looks so stylish. I should have that. And your inner voice says, yes, David, you really should. And then you look at the price ticket. I don't have that much money. I don't earn that much money. I'd have to work 3 years to buy that. I can't afford it. Then the answer is no. It's not the right decision to make. That's an easy one, isn't it? Nowadays, they try and persuade you that you can afford it. Oh, yes. Interest-free payments, sir. Pay it off over the next rest of your life. Run up a debt. That's not a good way to handle your money. We looked at that last month. Maybe, and the thing that I really want to do is be a professional footballer and play for England. Actually, that's not a very good example at the moment. I probably am good enough to play for England at the moment. The fact of the matter is, I, in my inner self, would love to be a professional footballer. And I'd love to play in the Premiership. And I'd love to be paid all that money. But I'm 54 years old. Is it something that is the right decision? Of course not. I could train every day for the rest of my life. I would never be fit enough to go and play football. I could practice with a ball every day for the rest of my life, but my ball control would never be good enough. I am never going to be a professional footballer. It breaks my heart. I've had that dream since I was 8 years old. That's 46 years. It's never happened. It's never going to happen. I'm not going to waste my time being a professional footballer. Again, it's an easy example. A more difficult one is when you're a Christian. From time to time you hear people say, we need people to go as missionaries. You know, I was 12 years old when I knew, for sure, because of circumstances, that I was never going to be a missionary.